Stanford comes to town. They're going to play Clemson this Saturday night, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Is this going to be another beatdown, or will the spelling bee champions of the Bay Area come into Clemson, South Carolina, and put an end to the offensive explosion? We'll dive into it in just a second. Welcome to the channel. I don't know why I did my hands like this. What do I do with my hands? Name that reference. I am glad that you're here. Hope you'll subscribe. Listen, it's free, and you guys have got me so close to 5,000 subscribers. It's ridiculous, so thank you very much. So if you haven't subscribed, remember it's free. It's budget-friendly. I know times are difficult. I'm not trying to put a dark cloud over this video, but I know times are difficult. I hope you will subscribe. It is free. So let's dive in. The last time Clemson and Stanford played was 1986 in the Gator Bowl. 1986, Clemson was up 27-0 at half. It looked like they were just going to run these guys over. Rodney Williams was playing quarterback for Clemson. Kenny Flowers, Terrence Flagler, David Treadwell popped 2 field goals in the game. But Jack Elway's club came all the way back. Clemson held on for the 27-21 victory. Well, let's talk about Stanford football. You know, I make my jokes about the Bay Area caring nothing about college football, California or Stanford. They only care about the 49ers, which is true. I should know. I have to go out there a couple of times a year. I know that area. They care about the 49ers. I don't even know if they know that Stanford and Cal play football, at least anymore. And let's be fair. Stanford's last winning season was 2018. They went 9-4 in 2018. And in 19, they were 4-8. In the 2020 year, they were 4-2. Okay, winning season. Okay, I take that back. They were 4-2 then, but come on, y'all. You know what I mean. Full season. And then for the past 3 years, Stanford's been 3-9. Now let's pause there. Right now, they're 2-1. I mean, granted, one of those games was beating Cal Poly. And they lost to TCU at the beginning of the year, but they did beat Stanford the other night. Not Stanford, Syracuse the other night. Too many S words going on here. But Troy Taylor is going into his second full season. He took over for David Shaw. I mean, good grief. One of the 3 wins from 2022 was when David Shaw, who had totally checked out, you could look in his eyes, he had checked out, beat Notre Dame. You remember that? Marcus Freeman's first year. Not much has changed, by the way, but that's another video, another topic. David Shaw took over for Jim Harbaugh and had you know, a lot of success for a while. I mean, in 2011, they were 11-2, then they were 12-2, 11-3, 8-5, 12-2, 10-3, 9-5, 9-4, and then it was just awful. They had Andrew Luck during those early years of in between Harbaugh and Shaw. They had a guy named Christian McCaffrey. But since then, it has been nothing but a crap show. Now, if you watch college football religiously outside of Clemson, there is one player from Stanford that you've heard of. He's the guy who last year absolutely wrecked Colorado. You know, the front runner for the national championship last year until about week 5 when reality hit. Alec Ayomanor is a sophomore wide receiver who had almost 300 receiving yards against Colorado. He had that ridiculous catch over the head and caught the ball on the back of Travis Hunter. I believe that was a game tying touchdown. Everybody knows about this guy. Ayomanor had an outrageous catch for a touchdown the other night against Syracuse. What else do we know about this team? They were picked basically to finish dead last in the ACC. I think it was a toss-up between them and Duke. Go figure. They returned basically all of their offense from last year, 8 on the defensive side of the football. But they're not intimidating. That's what I'm trying to get to. They're not an intimidating football team. They're led by 6'2" junior Ashton Daniels. He's out of Buford, Georgia. He has 562 yards on the year, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's also their leading rusher. Their quarterback's their leading rusher, 39 carries, 163 yards. But everybody knows Alec Iomanner. After that, there's really nothing you know about Stanford other than you have to be extremely intelligent to get in there. And they're in the Bay Area. There we go. Now, Clemson coming into this game is a 22-point favorite. The vast majority of the country does not believe that Stanford can win at this point, considering the trajectory of Clemson's offensive performance. Now, Clemson's last 2 games, they've put up at least 59 points. This past Saturday against NC State, they were up 59-14. At the half, they were up 45-7 and had over 400 yards of total offense at halftime. Of course, we know the shellacking they put on Appalachian State, 66-20. They set a bunch of records. And Clemson has seemingly stopped playing it safe offensively. And Cade Klubnik's throwing the rock around. He's 58 of 79, 729 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 1 interception. My favorite player on the offense, Phil Maffa, 33 carries, 284, 2 touchdowns. Our leading receiver is Antonio Williams with 12 receptions, 159 yards, and 3 touchdowns the other day. Now, Peter Woods is day-to-day right now. We don't know if he's going to play this Saturday. I know Adam Randall's going to be out due to a toe injury. That guy just can't stay healthy. I hate it for him. Tyler Brown, I believe he's day-to-day as well. So what are really the keys to this ball game? Look at what you've been doing and do the same. Sometimes the answer is just that simple. Don't go back into your shell. Continue to take shots down the field. Continue to run the football as needed. But take shots down the field, make them stop you. Give the defense an even bigger buzz, a bigger shot of hype for them to come out onto the field because now they have more points to play with. And for anybody who's driving by, maybe you didn't pay attention to the NC State game. I mean, I believe everybody right down to the athletic. I think they had Neff. Neff actually played Saturday. I don't know if y'all saw that. That's how many players that got to play in this game this past Saturday and the week before. Clemson's lead was so big that Graham Neff, the athletic director, played for Clemson. That's the reason they gave up 35 points to NC State, when if anyone was paying attention, it was 45-7 at halftime. Do more of that. Continue to trust Cade. Continue to allow him to take shots down the field. Let's get Wesco and TJ Moore into the conversation of best freshman college football players. Let's get that going. Let's give major high school recruits right now. Let's give them the desire, the want to be at Clemson immediately. Clemson does have NIL. They're not doing it for acquisition. They're doing it for retention. But you know that Wesco and TJ Moore are being taken care of. And if they're not, It's a bad business decision, but we know they are. They have to be. Get the ball to these guys. Keep feeding the rock to Antonio Williams. Keep getting the ball to Brenningstool. Keep getting the ball to Stellato. Let's do this thing. Keep your foot on the pedal. That's my message to Clemson's offense. I'm not worried about the defense. I'm not worried if the defense is going to come out there and lay a golden turd against Stanford. No. Now, defensively, there's two routes you could go here. You could say, all right, we're going to blitz or force Ashton Daniels away from Elikayo Manor. That's what we're going to do. And make him throw the ball somewhere else. We know he wants to run. He's the leading rusher for the team with 39 carries. I know sacks are included in that, but or you could actually force Ashton Daniels to the side of Io Manor, baiting him. He's young. Bait him into thinking, my man went up against Travis Hunter, and he had this unbelievable catch against him, and everybody's talking about him, and he had the great catch against Syracuse, and make young Ashton, well, make a poor decision. Oops, Clemson's not Syracuse. And though Travis Hunter's very talented, Colorado's not Clemson. Clemson's way better than them. Clemson's defense is unbelievable, and force young Ashton to throw the ball up. And I believe we know what's going to happen there. The ball's going to get intercepted. The ball's going to get knocked down. All of a sudden, it's going to be a quick 3 and out. Clemson's offense has the ball, and if they keep their foot on the pedal, boom, you're sitting there staring at 21-0 in a blink of an eye, and you're going, what happened? On top of that, Stanford's not used to this weather. Had some of my wife's family came out a few years ago. They were considering moving from Southern California to South Carolina because there's family here. And they visited during the summer. You want to take a wild guess what didn't happen? They didn't move here. Why? They could not believe the heat mixed with the humidity. They couldn't believe it. And so, though the first day of fall was yesterday, it doesn't feel like it in South Carolina. It doesn't. You may pass by houses right now where housewives and women, whatever, have decorated their homes in pumpkin and fall decor. They're drinking their pumpkin spice lattes with their cardigans, listening to Taylor Swift music, vibing until they walk outside and it's 9,000 degrees at 100% humidity. And their hair that they straightened, all of a sudden they have an afro. How did that happen? It's called South Carolina weather. Stanford does not know what that feels like. Yeah, they might have a player or two from the South, but folks, we know what happens when you become acclimated to a certain environment. And the Bay Area this time of year feels nothing like it does in South Carolina. Nothing. Not at all. Not at all. So that's going to play a major factor. And you're like, oh, it's a night game. It won't be as hot. You're right. It won't be as hot, but that mugginess will be here. It will be here. So I call Clemson to cover the 22-point spread. I see the Tigers winning this game in the neighborhood of 42 to 14, 42 to 17. I'm just not impressed with Stanford. I'm not enamored with Io Manor. I think he is, by the way, let me stop there. I think he's very talented, but he's one guy. And when you have one guy going up against a pretty much no holes defense, or if they have some holes here and there, it's very few. And you have a line like we have, You have a linebacking core like us, and you have a defensive coordinator and coaching room that is, going to let the dogs loose. I just don't see them hanging with Clemson. So I'm going somewhere about 42-17 with Clemson win this ball game. Let's quickly get to the comment section. I'm going to say hello to some people. Let's see this. Stanford has by far the craziest looking mascot. It's the funniest dang thing. California's coming to Death Valley for the first time. We're going to try and cancel the noise because it's offensive. That is hilarious. Parker Henderson, thank you for your comments. Parker is a member. You see that symbol beside his name? That means he joined the channel. So $3 or $5 per month. By the way, I just want to tell everybody, a bunch of you have been doing that, and I appreciate it. If you haven't joined the channel on a monthly basis, I'm just going to throw this out there. Times are difficult. I kept it cheap, $3 or $5 per month. So if you want to do that, want to support on a monthly basis, I'm just here hanging out talking about my team. If you like what I do and you can do that, I hope you do. At least subscribe. It is free. Parker, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's going to get loud. Stanford won't be a pushover whatsoever. Koozie, 199. I like that. I like the fishing picture. It looks really, really cool. Stanford won't be a pushover. I think they'll come in and they'll try to fight. I just think that Clemson is, their mind is somewhere else right now, and I just think that they're going to take care of business. You may be right, but I think they're going to take care of business. But thank you so much for supporting the channel for $1.99. Thank you so much for that. Let's go through, say a few, hello, Mr. Brand B. Love the show. Hey, Brian. Good to see you. Tiger Too Deep. Good to see you, my friend. It's a tree, not the bird for which it is named. Yes. FSU fan here. You guys look good with our season washed already. I need y'all to win the ACC so Miami doesn't. Forward NR. I've already heard that from my friend TJ Pittinger over at College Football Addiction. By the way, I was on his show yesterday. Y'all should go check it out. It was a good time. Mike Madden's having a field day with that one. Good to see you, Mike, even if you are talking trash. Why do we keep losing recruits, Charles Johnson? We just got to keep winning, and we will continue to land more than we lose. But, hey, that is a good question. Good to see you, Chuck. Good to see you. Douglas Spencer, only 108. Only 108. Parker said it's 91 here. Feels like 96 right now in Tennessee, Alabama. It's crazy. Koozie said it's going to be 70 Saturday. We'll see. It's supposed to start raining tomorrow until Saturday. I'm a Clemson fan, but I thank Brian for his podcast, just totally keeping it real with our Clemson Tigers. Used to believe the hype of other podcasts, but I don't know about y'all, but Brian is the real deal. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Hey, listen, here's the thing. I'm not trying to rain on anyone's parade, but I used to listen to all the other outlets. And I'm not saying all of them. I like some of those guys. I like some of them. It's not like it's anything personal. I'm just saying they're saying the stuff to keep you coming back to their show time and time again, because they need to keep subscribers and they need to keep sponsors happy. And so they know that fans are gullible, and I don't blame them if that is their actual job. This is not my job. I wouldn't be a problem if it became my job, but I'm just saying this is not my job. My goal here is to be that voice of reason, because trust me, I used to buy into the hype too. I bought all the newspapers. Anytime major media mentioned Clemson football, I started laughing like I was medically induced into laughter. I said that poorly. But the point is, I used to believe the hype of local and major media. And then I kept realizing that, reality is totally doing something different than what they were predicting. Why am I doing this to myself? So that's one of the reasons I do what I do. We can have hope during this time. We can enjoy the moment. We can enjoy the wins. Clemson's got a lot to prove. I appreciate that you appreciate that. Matthew, good to see you, my buddy. Thanks. I appreciate that. I will be impressed when Clemson beats a top 5 team. This schedule only had one, and you know the rest. You're right, Tim. Tim, I agree with you 100%. I said this on College Football Addiction yesterday. I agree with you 100%. We can enjoy this moment, But you are right. The last time we played a team with a pulse, we got emasculated. Well, folks, you take care of yourself. Leave your comments below. What do you think the outcome of this game against Stanford? How do you think it's going to end up? Will we keep the pedal to the metal? Had to think about that for a second. Or do we begin to believe some of the press, believe some of the higher rankings that we're now starting to see since Clemson has started having an offensive explosion? We're starting to see more major media, national media outlets buying into Clemson. And that can be dangerous. Hopefully, Clemson's coaching staff as a whole is keeping that under wraps, and the team's just going to come out and do their thing. Let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed, remember, it is free. I do appreciate it. You take care of yourself, and as always, go Tigers.